XO19 is in London this year, and for that, we want to do something special for our fans. The DPM XO19 controller is going to be one of our most exclusive drops. We are in the Soho neighborhood in the heart of London, and this is the Maharishi store. This is an awesome streetwear label. I've come here quite often just for inspiration as well as just from a fashion aspect. DPM is the creative camouflage force behind the Maharishi brand. So what you're looking at there is the DPM Encyclopedia of Camouflage. That was developed by Hardy Blackman in the early 2000s, and it's become Xbox Design's holy grail of camouflage. And it's been in our reference library for ages now. XO19 is in London this year, and for that collaboration, we want to do something special for our fans. We actually reached out to DPM and Maharishi to see if we could do a collaboration, and it resulted in a bespoke print that will be available at XO19.
I think it works really well. The name of the pattern and so on, it flows really well around the controller. It's great.
So the design on this controller is actually a custom one-off print. It's called Aqua Brush. We're purely inspired by London and really in particular the Thames River that flows through the controller there. Maharishi's ethos is about pacifist military design. So one of the things both Maharishi and DPM Studios like to do is to reclaim camouflage from its military references and actually bring it back to its origins in nature and as well as in art. The print itself is actually inspired by 50s French lizard camo, which actually has its roots back to a British brushstroke camo. So you can see on this design that the camouflage is very hand painted and has a very brushstroke flow. And then even further camouflaged within the camouflage is actually little icons of London that you can find in there. We'll just let people discover those on their own. The Maharishi brand has a vision to be environmentally sound as well as always producing high quality utilitarian garments. But one of their most iconic elements is their embroidery. So here you can see on the t-shirt, they take a lot of references from Eastern culture. And one of their most iconic embroideries is their dragon that you can also find on our controller. So the DPM XO19 capsule is going to be one of our most exclusive drops. We'll include the controller, 3 t-shirts, Xbox bomber jacket, Xbox pin, as well as wallpapers, and they'll be available November 14th.
Creativity is important for me because it's freedom, you know? It really allows me to think outside the box and create things that people haven't created before.
And we're so fortunate that we live in a day and age when we have all this technology that he can use. The things that he has available to work with now wouldn't have been available 20 years ago.
I've known Spencer since I was like 3 years old. Grew up right down the street, literally across the street. I would like run over here, we'd hang out and stuff.
As long as they've had games out, we've been playing.
I mean, we didn't stop playing Halo until like forever. It was great.
I think that's what got me into it the most, social aspect of it. I didn't think about gaming till the adaptive controller came out, but once it became available, then it was always on my mind.
There was an ad that came out and he saw it, and it was right before Christmas, so we got him the controller for Christmas.
I got the device not knowing, because I'm not a gamer. I don't know what any of the buttons do. And I got that thinking, okay, well, here it is.
There was a lot of things to work out. When I originally saw the one-handed joystick on Microsoft's website, I didn't think it was going to work for me because there was no attachments that my hand could use. And nothing that was really sensitive enough to play the games that I wanted to, and like Halo and games that require a lot of movement and a lot of button use. When I saw that there are parts out there that work for that controller, that's when I was finally like, okay, this is pretty cool. I can build on this. I already had the shape in mind, the U shape that I needed to in mind with metal ones at first, and they were just too heavy. It led me to, well, 3D printing is probably the best way for me to solve that problem. This was my first cutout of the tray. Tried to model as much as I could after the original controller. Then it just led me to step-by-step switching little things here and there to finally getting to the point that it was working for me. I've probably made at least 15 different iterations of the joystick itself. You know, just the joy of playing games again really kept me going.
After seeing it actually cut out with the design on it, I was like, so many other people can use this besides just Spencer. And I was like, we gotta play some games, man.
This is something that we can do together again, and so it's been really nice.
I just love seeing him being able to do fun things with his friends and, you know, all together again, just like they were before.
I'm not done with it yet by any means, but once, you know, everyone that wants the game again can, then I'll know I'm done.
The Insight Project is a rare example of artists, scientists and mental health experts coming together to tackle one of the most pressing challenges of our time, mental suffering.
We're asking a question. Could we combine the best of game design and technology with cutting-edge clinical neuroscience and psychiatry to help with mental suffering and to promote mental well-being? This became the Insight Project. We recognize that there's a powerful and widespread movement in science and psychiatry based on acknowledging that the brain and the body are truly intimately related and must be considered as a functioning unit. But game technology gives us a missing piece. It gives us control of the person's environment. This is enormously powerful.
But why do we think games could help? Well, over the last decade, the games industry has been in an arms race, developing real-time technologies such as virtual avatars, natural human-computer interfaces, data analytic tools, online technologies that are at levels of sophistication that are grossly underestimated by the wider world. And all of these tools were created to engage a captive mass audience, train them in new skills and promote mastery of games. And this is a tool set that we think could equally be applied to mental well-being.
What Hellblade had achieved was to make the invisible visible. What if we could go further and give people the ability to see, engage with, and perhaps even overcome their fears and anxieties?
Over the next few months and years, we will be sharing our approach, publishing our findings, and growing our team. The project will grow in complexity as we tackle harder and harder problems for which solutions may not yet exist. However, we do believe that by focusing our efforts on what we can do now and collaborating with those who can offer different or complementary solutions, we can kickstart a movement. One based on sound principles, and help each other to find ways of improving the quality of life for a lot of people.
My name is Emily and I'm 20 and I made Fractured Minds. I chose to do a puzzle solving format for the game, mostly because it kind of reflects the challenges that you face with mental health issues. Like, it's a struggle to get the key and to open the door to the next room. Because of my own experiences with mental health and anxiety, it's quite like a personal topic for me. I actually missed quite a lot of school because of my anxiety. So in my free time, I would basically work on the game. It was kind of like an outlet for my stress. It gave me motivations and goals and helped me focus on something. And I definitely think that helped me get through that time. The BAFTA Young Game Designers competition is like the perfect starting point for any young person wanting to enter the games industry. I was a little bit apprehensive at first because I didn't think I could win, basically. But then my sister actually really encouraged me, so I just went for it. The feeling of finding out I'd been shortlisted was just, it's one of the best days of my life, definitely. When I was at the train station about to go to the BAFTA ceremony, I actually had a really, really bad panic attack. I honestly thought, I can't do this, I'm just gonna go home. But my sister kind of helped me through it. I knew I had to try because it's like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so you have to go for it. And I'm so glad I did.
It is Fractured Minds by Emily Mitchell.
It just went from the worst day of my life to the best day. I'm just so happy to have it reach Xbox and then actually be able to play it at home is just beyond exciting. I really think that the charity Safe in Our World could make a big difference in the games industry. To have a voice campaigning for mental health to be spoken about more and for video games to be part of that solution, I'm just really excited to be part of it.